I am joined by Lisa McGuigan, fourth generation of one of Australia's most famous winemaking families. Lisa, welcome to London.
Thank you very much.
Now, in the past, you've been known for, you created Tempest 2, for example,
That's
didn't
right.
you? But you've gone out on your own and created something completely new.
I have, and I'm here this week launching in London. So I came over for the Australia Day Wine Fair, which was fantastic. Loads of people and some great interest in my products. So it was very exciting. So I came over with my suitcase full of bottles of Lisa McGuigan wine, and I'd wished that I'd had some more with me. But unfortunately I had no clothes, so I've had to go and do a bit of shopping, which is just terrible when a girl's in London.
Was it West End style?
Yes, definitely. Well, yes. So I've got two products here to show you today, but the range was created in October, and I had a break from Tempest 2 for about 5 years. I've been out of the market. I've had my own retail stores in Sydney, so I haven't been to the UK for a while. So it's good to come back and see what's going on. So really I came over to investigate what was happening, and because I had so much interest, I've now spoken with a couple of people who are interested in being my agent. So
Excellent.
I'm going back with a lot more than I even imagined. So thanks everyone for making me feel welcome here. I'll be back again soon.
Look forward to it. Now, what can you actually tell us about the wines themselves?
Okay, so the first wine here, which is the Lisa McGuigan Moscato Noir is what I've called it. And you'll notice, Alan, that it's quite pink.
It's very
But
pink.
don't think it's just a girl's drink because it's pink. Should I open it and we'll have a little taste?
If you insist, why not?
I insist.
Go ahead.
So Moscato is made from Muscat and Frontenac. Wow, what a great opener you have
Just
here.
before we continue, tell us about the closure.
Oh, the closure. I can see that you're very interested in the closure, but you might be familiar with this from products such as a couple of beers you may have had at home. So it's a crown seal. The reason I've used a crown seal is that there are only two options for this particular Moscato because it has a fairly high level of fizz. So it doesn't suit any other closure such as a cork without a wire. So it would need a champagne seal or a crown seal. Keeps that gas in.
I mean, it certainly looks unorthodox, though. Do you think people might have certain preconceptions when they see a wine packaged like this?
Well, in Australia, we're quite, well, I'm unorthodox quite a lot of the time. So it suits my brand. I don't really have any fear of using something like this because it's a practical closure for me. So as a wine producer, it's really about what works. And when you've only got two options, I think maybe here it probably looks like a beer cap. So that's maybe what you're thinking.
Well, that's obviously what is most commonly used for.
Yes, yeah. Well, look, it has to be used, and I don't really think the UK consumer is going to get too upset about it, especially if they've bought the product. Yeah. I suppose it might inhibit people from buying it, but the more for the ones who like it and start following it, I suppose.
Okay, maybe you're starting a new trend. Who knows? Who knows? Okay.
Being unorthodox can sometimes start a new trend.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go. Oh,
It's good
there's a
sound.
lot of gas in there. I think Moscato needs to be a little gassier. And the beautiful D'Asti Moscatos are a little lower in gas, and it's just a different way of making it. So this is a lot bigger in bubble, and let's get into it anyway.
It's 8.1% ABV.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, there is quite a lot of buzz at the moment surrounding low alcohol wines, isn't there? Is this a path you've chosen to follow specifically for getting in on this trend?
Well, I know that there's a trend. It's also about producing something that isn't too alcoholic, because there's always an occasion where I've got that is really gassy, isn't it? Can you hear that?
A lot of fizz.
But so many times I'll be at a like a ladies' lunch, and people in Australia and here, everyone's aware of drink driving, and it's pretty hard to go to a function and just drink mineral water if you're driving.
Yeah.
Because this is half the normal alcohol, it's so much easier if you're going to drive. You can have a glass of that and there's no problem. Lower alcohol, I think, for being a female, I prefer to drink something a little lower in alcohol, although last night I drank a few cocktails, so they may have been higher than usual for me. But I am in London, so, I've got to let my hair down a bit while I'm here. So should we have a bit of a taste of that? The colour comes from Cabernet skins that I've used to make the wine. Right. So I've used the colour to create this pink, the colour of the skins, to create the pinkness. It's
a very bright, sort of luminous, almost pink, isn't it?
It is. Now, I worked hard on getting that colour right, and depends what the market thinks as to whether I did get the colour right, but I think as my first one, that I'm pretty happy with it. It did create a lot of interest at the Australia Day Wine Fair. So I've used Muscat, Frontignac and Cabernet Sauvignon skins, all from South Australia. It's got lots of flavour, it's slightly sweeter, and when I'm serving something on a really hot day, and today it's not hot here, however, however it is sunny, so it's the kind of drink you want to have when it's sunny. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's got quite a creamy mouthfeel to it as well.
Can you tell it's lower alcohol?
Yeah. I think the Muscat style is quite easily identifiable, and we do associate
really
that.
Stands out, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Frontignac also, that's a very sweet variety too. So the reason it's good having it with a little bit of extra sweetness is that you can chill that right down. So if it is a hot day, and where I'm from, it's usually a hot day, I chill that down. In fact, from the fridge, I take it put it into the freezer 10 to 15 minutes before I serve it, so that it's really icy.
Okay.
Perfect for lunch.
Good tip. Good tip.
So that's the Moscato Noir. The Noir comes from the fact that I've used a black grape to get the colour. So shall we try the Pinot Gris?
Yes, what can you tell us about this one? Now this one you've got a much more orthodox closure of the good old screw cap.
Thank God I used that. The screw cap is well accepted here, as you know. It's very easy, and in Australia we use it quite a lot. Pinot Gris, I source my fruit from all around Australia. So I don't actually own any vineyards. I can be flexible as to where I source my fruit from. So this, in fact, is from a cool climate, higher altitude area in Australia. So Pinot Gris likes the cold, and I like to have a more fine finish with Pinot Gris. I know that here Grigio is one of your big sellers, and it's a big trend. These products obviously they're from my Australian market. I'm debating whether to release a Grigio or a Gris here, but the people I'm talking to about being my agent are trying to convince me to go with Grigio, which is a different style. So,
are you aiming at a predominantly an off-trade distribution deal at the moment?
A bit of both, actually. The range that I've got here today is my premium range from Australia. It's a $25 retail, so it's about 10 to 12 pounds here, I suppose. I will be introducing a special new range for the UK because I think there's a lot of opportunity in a slightly lower price point. This will be great for restaurants and fine wine stores, but I think for supermarkets, it's probably going to be another range that you'll see. I've been working on that since I've been here, so I'm using some UK designers.
Okay. Are you able to tell us anything about what the range might be?
Look, I'd love to, but I just would really like to come back and talk to you about it when I've got it a little bit more advanced, because...
You just want to come and see me, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope you'll see me again. So let's try the Pinot Gris. I'll just drink that water.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I won't scull.
Also, you take a very hands-on approach with regards to the labels as well, don't you?
Well, I'm a bit of a frustrated artist, Alan. I'm using a platinum material, and I've used something similar before on a previous brand. Tempest 2, I used a pewter. This is now a lot shinier. I've got a more traditional label. Put that over there. A more traditional label with the white, and I think the French labels are beautiful. So I've gone with maybe it's because I'm a bit older now. I've gone with the more traditional type of label, but I've designed this myself, so it's my first release. I like to tweak things for a little while.
What are you trying to convey through the label?
That it's serious wine,
Yeah.
darling.
Okay.
The Moscato is more fun. You know, that's got a cross on it. It's a bit kind of represents my Gothic background.
Right. Okay.
I'm not really Gothic, but I'd like to be. So the more serious range is a little bit more conservative. White labels, I think, you know, are quite conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Just with my name across there. It's the first time I've actually used my name on a wine range, so it's very
So
exciting.
you must be confident in its success.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Yes.
Let's have
A little sip. So it's clean and fresh, a lot of citrus character, a wine that you don't necessarily need to have with food, but goes with a broad range of seafood, and excellent with most starters.
Clean, citrusy,
Easy to drink.
easy to drink, exactly. Yep, I can see exactly what you're going for with that. And what kind of price point are we looking at with these?
That'd be about £10 here.
Okay.
Giving it away.
Well, you know, build from the bottom.
The other ranges would be around $7. A $7 range is what I'm thinking, and then maybe something about 8 or 9 as well over time. But initially, these are the wines that will be coming over. I've been talking to Tesco, been talking to everyone actually, so I've got a really good picture of what I'm going to come back with. So it's a pretty exciting time.
Now let's talk about your time that you spent recently in retail. Did you miss winemaking? Is that why you came back?
Yeah, I really, really missed it. And being a producer is, as producers know, and as I'm sure you know, it's not always easy. But retail isn't always easy either. I think having had a great length of time, so 3 or 4 years in retail, it really showed me a side that you can only get a little bit of a glimpse of when you're selling into retail. Until you're there doing it, I don't think you really understand that what the retailer has to go through. The competition's just incredible, and I think that's a global position, that it's very competitive in any kind of retail. So you've just got to really understand what your brand's about. And during my time in retail, I got to meet a lot of other winemakers. So they would have been my competitors in the past.
Yeah.
And to have those relationships now with those really great producers, it gives me the opportunity to bring these wines in. And my whole theme is that I'm making wine with friends for friends. So I can basically make wine with any winemaker in Australia, or hopefully I'll find around the world other winemakers that I might be able to start doing ranges with. So I imagine in the future I'll have a couple of products maybe from Chile. I've been talking to some Chilean winemakers, and Portugal as well.
Right.
And as you can see, I like a rosé style, so I've been talking to the guys at Matus about possibly doing something. They sell a lot of wine in Australia, so
we should watch out for in the future?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Go to the people that know how to do it best, I think. And I'm looking for some French producers I might be able to make wines with. So don't think that I'm going to be sitting here next time with 85 wines.
We need a bigger table.
We will. We'll need a bigger studio and a bigger camera, don't you think?
Okay, well, Lisa, you're leaving London this evening, and where are you off to? Back to Australia?
Back home.
But you are taking to the road, aren't you, around the globe to promote these?
Yes, I am.
Doing it all yourself?
Yes, doing it all myself. But along the way, I found some good people, particularly here. But I would like to come back and give you the exclusive on who that is down the track. So I imagine that I'm going to get the wines in here by just before summer. So I was hoping today that it would snow and I get stuck here. But apparently it's going to snow.
All it takes is a few drops for London to come to absolute standstill.
Excellent. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to snow now, and I leave in a couple of hours. If it does after I leave, just know I'll be crying. And if it snows tomorrow, have a great weekend.
Lisa, thank you very much for coming to see us.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much.